Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Flash episode 21 video. Careful for spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. Barry Allen, what a lame name. Bart sounds so much cooler. Are you sure my name isn't Bart? I hope all you Young Justice fans appreciate them making an episode of The Flash just for you. So there's a new round of the Flash Ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video, but there was a couple important things going on in this episode that were hat tips for big twists that I think are going to be coming in the finale. I have a couple predictions, and I think they're even seeding ideas and concepts for Season 4 and Clifford DeVoe, the Thinker, who has a lot of mind control, memory-based power. So I'll explain that as we go through top 10 WTF, but starting with number 10. The really important stuff is that Savitar explains his backstory. So what he says is that he's a time remnant created by this version of future Barry to fight Savitar. He created a couple time remnants. Savitar killed them all with the exception of one, so that that one could live to become Savitar. The reason he explains he became Savitar is that the rest of Team Flash shunned him because he wasn't the real Barry Allen, so they pushed him away. He started resenting everything and the pain just got too much, and suddenly he got the bright idea that God doesn't feel pain, so I'll become the god of speed. So that's how Savitar was born. He then went back in time and used the Philosopher's Stone way back in the past to create the myth of Savitar. He jumped through the timeline, collecting acolytes, building the myth of Savitar. That's how Jay Garrick heard about it and told him. Barry even says, "What happens to you if I kill myself?" And he says, well, that's the thing about time travel. Eddie killed himself, but yet Eobard Thawne lived to come back still. So it's just a way for the Flash TV show to let you know that, somebody who time travels a lot has a lot of different ways to come back, which is where we get to Reverse Flash stuff. He hasn't come back yet, but there are a number of different ways. The Savitar explainer, how like Eddie killed himself, but he's still around because he time traveled a lot. I time traveled a lot, so even if you kill yourself, that might not get rid of me. So we'll talk more about Reverse Flash in a little while. But number 9, Savitar versus Barry round 1. It's so cool that his suit has an autopilot function. That's the thing, my suit is way cooler than yours. So love the special effects, watching him run and jump into the suit. It's sort of a reverse version of the Flash ring. The Flash suit ejects from the ring, then he jumps into it. This time the suit opens up and he jumps into it. So I know you're all wondering, it's kind of expensive for them to do those special effects, so I don't know if they would do the Flash ring every single time, but we're so close. We're going to be in Season 4 next year. I think that that's going to be the season where we see Barry use the Flash ring for the first time. But number 8, Team Flash zaps Barry's memory and they sort of walk through the logic of Savitar. I hate spin-offs. Cisco makes the Star Trek reference, oh, it's like Evil Kirk, he gets separated by the transporter. HR says they have Voyager on their planet, and Cisco's like, I hate spin-offs. But the funny thing about this is the metaphor works for Savitar too, because Savitar is literally a spin-off of Barry. That's what a time remnant is. Number 7, Trial of the Flash. So if you don't remember the Trial of the Flash, I'm using that for comedy, but the comic book story is something vastly different about him being tried for the murder of the Reverse Flash. This time they use it for comedy. The Heatmonger ends up getting away because it doesn't work. I mean, it was a lot of funny moments. Cisco has to help give him a boost of self-esteem. It's okay, I think your name is cool. But he's another heat-based villain. He's not from the comics. There's no Heatmonger in the Flash comics. Probably my favorite thing about all this comedy with the memory, though, is the Bart Allen stuff. He even refers to himself as Bart. Cecile's like, oh, thank you. Nice to meet you, Bart. Even Wally is totally on board with calling Barry Bart. So everybody on every Flash video that I ever post, especially the back half of the season, because we're getting closer and closer to Season 4, do you think that we're going to see Bart Allen on the TV show? And if they'd only said Bart one time in this episode, I'd say, whatever. But they said it so many times that it's like, oh yeah, we are definitely going to do Bart Allen eventually. Maybe not Season 4, maybe not Season 5, but that's the writers beating you in the face with Bart Allen being a big character in the Flash comics and him coming around. If you're not familiar with who Bart Allen is, he's the grandson of Barry and Iris. He was sent from the future to come back in time. He was introduced in the comics to sort of be like a really young character because Wally West used to be Kid Flash, but then when Barry Allen died, he became the main version of the Flash. He was an adult, so they wanted a kid version of the Flash. The new Kid Flash became Impulse, who was Bart Allen. What I think might happen in the future is, wild prediction, if they decide to include the Titans TV show in the CW universe, somehow, even though it's going to be on a different streaming service, they'll send Wally West, Kid Flash, to go be the Flash of that TV show because Wally was a part of the Teen Titans. He was also a big Titans character. You have to have a version of the Flash on the team. So that'll leave the door open for another version of the Flash to get introduced because they won't have Wally around every single week. So you can just start laying your bets right now. We won't hear about that Titans show for a while, but we'll talk about it this summer. There'll be a big Comic-Con panel where they hype it up. Jeff Johns has been hyping it up already. But number 6, Killer Frost comes to bargain. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. She wants Savitar to get his memories back so that they can continue with their plans to become gods. So they need Barry to get his memories back, and by consequence, also get Kid Flash's powers back as well. If you're wondering why Kid Flash lost his powers, it's because Barry loses his memory, and Savitar is a future version of Barry, so Savitar forgets who he is, forgets that he has powers, and because he keeps going backwards and forwards, it's that Mobius strip, everything that happens along his timeline starts to collapse, meaning that he never gave Wally West powers to begin with during Flashpoint. So that is how Wally loses his powers, and that's where Iris starts to get the idea, hey, Barry's super happy, and we dealt with Savitar, so would it be such a bad thing if Barry never got his powers back? He'd still be very happy, and they were very clearly falling in love again, even though Barry didn't totally remember who she was. They had all that chemistry when they were in the coffee. He made all the funny jokes about being awkward in high school, so it's almost like Iris would still get to be happy with Barry, but the city would lose its Flash, and Wally wouldn't have powers either, so there'd be zero Flashes to stop any real supervillains. But she has a really important line where she says, maybe the city doesn't need the Flash. So I feel like that's a big hat tip for the twist in the finale. Big red flashing warning sign, yes, the city definitely needs the Flash. That's the whole basis for the Flash comics. Villains have superpowers, you need superheroes with powers to take them down. But that raises a lot of interesting questions. If Barry collapses Savitar's timeline and that takes Wally's powers away, will Barry, going into the Speed Force at the end of the season, deprive the city of any version of the Flash? Like this big banner here, Flash vanishes in crisis. Will this be something tied to Barry going into the Speed Force? Just something to think about as you're making your theories for the finale in the beginning of Season 4. But there were so many really good small details they included in this, especially Cisco's speech that invoked Ronnie and helped Caitlin remember who she is. So the big twist there as she's riding in the elevator is that she kind of does remember. So even though she's still Killer Frost, her eyes sort of go back into Caitlin mode, letting you know that she's not completely gone. You belong here, you're our friend. So it's like a reverse version of what happened to the future Barry that ended up becoming Savitar. The team pushed him away because he wasn't the real Barry, but our Team Flash is trying to keep Caitlin close. But number 4, Tracy Brand and HR with the speed bazooka. So there's a whole lot of stuff that they're setting up really fast. They're very clearly pushing this relationship, and their chemistry is so strong and intense. Do you not feel like HR is doomed to die at the end of the season? Like that's the reason why they're rushing this relationship so quickly. Otherwise, what would they be building towards? I mean, it's not like they're going to end, everything will be happy, they'll ride off into the sunset. That's not how things end on The Flash. Each season finale of The Flash ends with a big villain takedown and an equally big disaster and heartbreak. So you lose Ronnie in the season 1 finale, you lose Barry's dad at the end of season 2, into season 3, somebody's gonna die from Team Flash, and it seems like it's gonna be HR now, but Tom Cavanaugh is still a series regular on the TV show, so that doesn't mean that Tom Cavanaugh would be leaving the show. It'd just be like another version of Harrison Wells would show up next year. But number 3, they jumpstart Barry's memories, they shock him, and Iris has to talk him through all of his tragedy, get him to remember that so that he can access the other parts of his brain that help him be the Flash. They did a really good job of weaving the big theme of the episode in that Barry needs all of his pain, all these things that I've experienced make me who I am today, the bad stuff and the good stuff. For every bad memory, there's a good memory attached to it as well. So the night that he lost his mother is the night that he met Iris. The other really important part of this is in telling you who the Barry Allen character is fundamentally, because before he got his memories back, he still rushed in to help. He said, that doesn't matter. If people are gonna die, I need to save them. It doesn't matter if I know how my powers work. I have to do something to help. So it's their way of showing you that Barry was a hero even before he got his superpowers. That's just who he is. He's always gonna rush in to try and help people. But it was a great twist as he remembers, Wally also remembers and runs in mid-fight as they take the fire down. Simultaneously, Savitar gets his memories back. I remember, and shit is back on. So a lot of great details like the Alexander Ham Bell talking about 3rd grade, just funny memories that Barry had. I love the lie that Iris told too. You were the happiest little boy the first time we met. This will be a fun episode to rewatch. They even make a joke about why their apartment is so big. Wow, how do we afford this? Everybody's always been wondering that. They took a lot of really good shots at themselves, but number one, they have to steal an alien power source from, it looks like, Argus, because that's where King Shark is, to power the speed bazooka. They have to power the weapon with more power than you could pull out of the sun. It's just a really cool excuse for them to do a big heist episode, which will bring back Captain Cold. So what I'll do is there's a lot of footage from this in the trailer that I posted on Monday, so I'll link that at the end just so you get a better context. But I will do a trailer video tomorrow where I'll explain a little bit more about what's going on. But next week, King Shark is coming back. It's going to be so awesome. So what's going to happen is I'll post that Flash trailer next. I have a new Spider-Man trailer to post. There's new Arrow tomorrow. There's a bunch of stuff, so I'll just update the video schedule when I post new videos. So just be sure to check those out. Congratulations to Ethan the Boss. You're the latest Flash Ring giveaway winner. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. There was a new round in this video. I'll announce the winner the next time I post a DC video. You can click here for that brand new Flash footage and click here for all my Guardians of the Galaxy 2 Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.